I heard you like bread. What's your favorite type?
Media.
Mine is baguette. Really nice, you know, you can form it as a sandwich, you can spread some cheese on there, some... What?
Is it a baguette or is it a baguette?
Baguette. Baguette.
Baguette.
Baguette. Yeah. Today...
Sourdough though.
Ooh,
Sourdough though.
Yeah, that's good, that's good. Okay, back on topic. We're gonna talk about media, which is a very broad term.
And bread.
Yeah, because bread is amazing. Who doesn't like bread? Oh, lactose intolerant. No, gluten, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Got mixed up. I had the dump. I often have the dump.
Do you have... No, wait, how is it?
It's not
Is you are stupid? No, is you are have stupid?
Yes,
Is you are
very much so. Okay, moving on. The thing I wanted to mention is, recently while riding the bus, I was reminiscing about childhood shows and whatnot, what I watched. And I remember, when I used to watch them, I was so inspired. What was it called? I think it was Class of 3000 or 2000?
3000.
3000, yeah.
Yeah, I think
the one
it was
with
the music and everything.
Yeah, Andre, who was a music teacher.
Yeah.
That cartoon inspired me so much to start getting into music, so learning to sing, to play instruments, and whatnot. And I was reflecting nowadays on sure, bring it here. This one, this beauty, this
Best
beauty right
music
here.
ever.
This beauty. This is from Cowboy Bebop. The specific art, I mean.
If you like this thing, you're gonna want
Yeah.
to start doing music.
Yeah, Cowboy Bebop, a good example. So inspirational. And now I just look at the shows that are available now, and the media that's available, and I haven't felt inspired by media in ages. And that's when I realized, damn, they're really fitting us bread and games now. The thing that I find most egregious is how planned and processed everything is. And the media companies know this. Hollywood, the prime example for this. Hollywood knows exactly which minute detail will sell. An example I can give. Recently, YouTube started to recommend a lot of Star Wars content to me. So I got into Star Wars, binge again, yada yada. One video essay mentioned how the sequel, the last 3 movies in the series, are nothing unique. It's just, it's just the previous stories, the previous tropes, previous characters, with a new look. That's something that is a product of Hollywood. It isn't creative, it's soulless. It's the safe bet. They didn't try to be unique. They're like, okay, it's been more than a decade since the last Star Wars movie. Let's play it safe. So they played it safe. They did what was done before. And it's soulless. It wasn't inspirational. But if you take the example of the original trilogy, the first Star Wars movie, it was probably one of the most significant
Even the
and most...
You mean the 4th?
Technically, chronologically. Yeah. A New Hope, I think, was the first one.
Yeah.
A New Hope is one of the most significant and inspiring movies in history. Not only did it set a precedent from visual effects, but it basically brought sci-fi and made it one of the most, I don't know which word to say, beloved, respected movie genres before that. Before that we had Doctor Who in England, you had Star Trek in America. But those were series. Those had their run, and eventually they fell off. Star Wars brought sci-fi into the mainstream. It made it cool. It made it a staple of entertainment.
You mean Harry Potter in space?
Yeah, but space balls and all that. But yeah, my point is, it inspired a single piece of art, a single work inspired thousands upon thousands of people. And if you look at the new Star Wars movies, It's practically the same story, the same things rehashed, but nobody is inspired by them. Because it's Britain games. A saying I have with a friend, it's made in a lab to be enjoyable. It has nothing unique about it. The people who made it aren't inspired, they didn't care about it because it was made in a lab. Okay, it has to have this, it has to have this, it has to have this. If it doesn't have this, it won't work. No, you can't try new things because it won't work, it won't sell. Everything is just Britain games now. And another aspect of why I think every media is just Britain games now is how mass-produced everything is. An example, YouTube. We can all agree that 2010's YouTube was the best place on the internet. It was so fun.
Yeah.
But now YouTube is just TV 2.0. It's overly produced. If you go to the trending category
trending page,
on trending page on YouTube, it's basically like TV.
Yeah.
And after advertisements became more prominent, it basically turned into TV. People didn't watch TV anymore; they watch YouTube, because you're watching the show, ad. You're watching the show, ad. The show has the same quality as the TV, and there's ads. The interactivity that was present is gone. Yeah.
It's not just that. Now that you mentioned like shows when we were kids and everything, I'm gonna mention something that was relevant a year ago, and I know it was a year ago. I don't care. One of the most iconic shows of the 2000s, at least according to me, was Scooby-Doo. And on the surface, most people will say, "Oh well, there's nothing to learn about. Like, you can't learn anything in Scooby-Doo." Well, actually, you can. In every single episode, they were doing the same thing. They were hunting a monster, a ghost, whatever. But every single time, it turned out to be the person right next to them.
Yeah.
And it teaches you not to judge the character of the portrayal of someone.
Yeah.
And then,
But the character,
yeah,
it's always the greedy people.
yeah.
Those are the real monsters, and
Yeah.
that's a good lesson.
And then, last year, or I think it was last year that
Yeah.
Velma came
Yeah.
out. They tried to do the same show, like to go of the nostalgia of people, to go with, oh well, we have a new show called Velma, which is like a story before Scooby-Doo. But then, you remember that there was a Scooby-Doo when they were kids,
Yeah.
and they still had Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
It's a show that I really don't think anyone enjoyed. And if someone says they enjoyed, they just say it because
Lying. Liars.
They
Don't
want
think of
clout.
liars.
it's a show where the whole point of an episode is to be like, haha, I'm better than you. No, dude, that never, like, I remember, I haven't watched the show, but I've seen like a clip of Velma saying something like, oh, she doesn't have a brain. And I'm saying that not because this and this, but she literally doesn't have a brain. Okay, how stupid do you think we are that you need to say that? Today, the shows, even those that are remakes that are just trying to go of the nostalgia, they do not have the same messages as the shows back then. If you remember Cartoon Network, like the golden age of Cartoon Network, the golden age of Boomerang, of Nickelodeon, every single show was partially educational. They were trying to show you what's good, what's bad, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. Ed and Eddie.
Yeah.
Three idiots who are greedy beyond belief. We still learned that even the greedy people like them, well, kids like them, they're still gonna help you out, and you should never, like, push someone away. They still need love, they still need this, they still need that. I swear, if they actually remake Ed and Eddie, it's gonna be the dullest show ever.
Yeah.
It's gonna miss every single point of Ed and Eddie. Like, I really don't think we were speaking about Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
There was a Netflix show of Cowboy Bebop. Was it good? No. Was it bad? Most of the time, yes. But it still had some parts that the original show is trying to portray. This is not me defending it. I personally didn't have a huge problem with it. I'm a huge Cowboy Bebop fan. But if every single remake of a show is at least like Cowboy Bebop, the state of media today is gonna be much better. You mentioned 2010 YouTube.
Yeah.
Every single channel was different. You had Smosh,
Yep.
who were making the most...
Videos in the room. I know the exact layout of the room when I used to watch them. You would, because they filmed at, what was it, Anthony's house or Ian's house? Ian's house, yeah. You knew every space in Ian's house. You knew Ian's mom. It was actually a recurring character. It was so charming.
It's actually his grandma, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember.
In real life.
Yeah.
No, real life.
Yeah. The thing that I found the most charming about that is how rough it is.
Yeah.
It isn't overly produced. It isn't sanitary, I want to call it.
Not just them.
That's where charm comes from.
Yeah. You had Niga Higa who was doing videos like how to be a ninja. And
Yeah.
the only thing was a white wall behind him.
Yeah.
And he was doing the most stupid shit, but it was fun to watch. And then the late 2010s came. Everyone started overproducing everything.
Yeah.
Every single channel started being a copy of what was number one at that time. You cannot have fun when the only difference I have between show A and show B is what color they're gonna have. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
There's no plot, there's no stories to learn, there's no values to learn. The only thing...
I think they made it a business.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They treat it as a business.
Yeah.
I can understand it. But that's how it dies. Because making videos, at least in the form of early YouTube era, was an art form.
Yeah.
And just as an art form, you express yourself. The moment you start making art, to sell it, it loses all of its soul. And that's where YouTube died. It lost its soul. Because now, okay guys, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, this is our schedule, we're gonna do this. Nobody wants to do it,
Yeah.
but it's their job.
I mean...
And then you have idiots like, as you said, hey, it's Fred!
But it was so-
yeah.
it was fun.
It was
Annoying Orange.
Yeah, Annoying Orange.
Remember Annoying Orange?
Yeah.
It was fun until it became overproduced.
Yeah.
And the thing what I was trying to get at is, like, I really do not understand how... Well, I do understand, that's what I'm going to talk about. It's a video we recorded today, earlier. Not sure if it's going to be published before this one or after this one. The whole problem is acceptance.
Yeah.
Or, well, the hijacking of acceptance.
Yeah.
Because most shows nowadays are trying to cater to the people who are yelling for attention. They're screaming for attention. So the shows are trying to cater to them. And if you don't like them, you're in the wrong.
Yeah.
It's not us. You're in the wrong for not liking them. I really don't understand why, instead of remaking a show, a movie, whatever, why not you create a new one? It's gonna be more entertaining because it's new. You have never seen that one. It's gonna be better because, again, it's new. You have not seen that one, and you cannot compare it to anything before that. And most of all, you're gonna introduce new characters to the new generations. In our time, we had, like we said, Ed and Eddie, Cowboy Bebop. Our parents, they had Snoopy,
Yeah.
they had...
Rich Stushko.
Yeah. They had Tom and Jerry, even we had Tom and
Yeah,
Jerry,
yeah.
but still, those are the classics. They still had shows we haven't seen.
Yeah.
And that's totally okay. That's totally okay. Every single generation needs a new thing. They do not need the old characters put into modern universe, like into the modern world. That's not, at least according to me, what art is.
Yeah.
That's just shitting out content,
Yeah.
which we're doing.
Yeah. Look,
Which we're doing.
Yeah, look.
I retract my statement.
look, the problem with that is the thing that makes art so valuable in this context is that it's a representation of its time.
Yeah.
Nowadays, if you took the Mona Lisa and gave it fillers, lip fillers,
Yeah.
it's gonna look weird because that's one of the most prominent features on the Mona Lisa. How regular, or I don't know how to explain it. The lips are on the Mona Lisa. So if you give her fillers, it's gonna look strange. Lots of people that parodied the Mona Lisa in the past, for example, give her a duck face
Yeah.
or whatnot. And it's used as satire. You can't bring it to the modern world and modern context and portray like, oh yeah, this is good, this is the thing. No, leave it be.
The funny thing is, now that you mentioned art, Cubism,
Yeah,
Picasso,
yeah,
if he were alive today, they would be like, oh, he doesn't know how to paint, he's just a lunatic. Because today that's not acceptable.
Yeah.
Even that at that time it wasn't acceptable. But people knew that if something new comes, we need to understand why it comes.
Yeah.
Today, if something new comes, they're like, oh no, it's new, we don't want it, get it away from me.
Yeah.
And that's why they started remaking every single fucking show we liked, every single movie we liked. Power Rangers, for example, which is a show that we watched as kids that
Yeah.
still I think it still runs, I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Every single season, it's different. It's different, yeah.
yeah.
The same thing always happens. The good guys defeat the bad guys who are trying to take over the world. But every single season tackles a different problem. Something that we both haven't watched. Gundam.
Yeah. Not a lot. I watched a bit.
Still,
Yeah.
not enough to talk about it. But from what we were told by an avid fan, every single season is not like the last one. It tries to show you something new. And that's what media, that's what movies, music, art should be. That's what it should be, and it's that simple. You cannot become famous, well, actually you can now, and it's wrong, if you just copy something that's been done.
Yeah.
You're just a copycat.
Also, an interjection. When I mentioned earlier that the social context is such that art has become more really produced and whatnot, this kind of climate, social climate, is about the worst thing that could happen to art.
Yeah.
Take a look in the past, for example. We like to compare it to the past. Whenever an art piece was commissioned, it was sponsored.
Yeah.
Now, art is ordered, and there's a big difference between a sponsor and an order.
Yeah.
With a sponsor, like, okay, here's some money, give me something, whatever. With an order, it's like, here's some money, give me that specific thing.
And the
And
best...
art nowadays has become ordered. It isn't sponsored anymore. That's why it's so uninspiring, it's so featureless.
I'm gonna use an example to prove your point. One of my favorite shows of all time is Teen Titans. The one on Cartoon Network that ran in the 2000s and early 2010s, I think. And then they were like, okay, well, this sold. You know what's time? Teen Titans Go. And I want it in this exact style, which is literally been done 10 times before.
Yeah.
The beauty of Teen Titans, it's a unique art style. The drawings are unique. You cannot compare it to another cartoon.
Yep.
And then you have Teen Titans Go, which is literally every single new show now.
Yeah, corporate animation.
Literally.
Corporate animation.
And as long as art, and I'm not saying artists shouldn't make money, every single artist deserves a lot of money. And I do believe most artists...
Not everyone.
No, not everyone. Yeah, not everyone.
There's
but
a lot of shit art, let's be honest.
most artists that are good
Yeah.
are underpaid.
Yeah.
Because of corporate art. Because of corporate art. And that is gonna ruin not just a generation, not just a society. That's gonna ruin human creativity.
Yeah.
You cannot... Imagine if Edgar Allan Poe was alive today. And he wrote Nevermore. Everyone's gonna be like, yo dude, what the fuck today? Like, that doesn't sell. But he did it. And he was sponsored because of it. Because someone was like, okay, I like this. I have money. I like this. I'm gonna sponsor it. Today, like you said, if he was alive, they're gonna be like, well, you know what? You're a good writer. I don't want you to write what you want. I want you to write what I want.
Yep.
You cannot push your imagination onto someone else.
Yep.
Imagination is something that is individual. And as people who write for work, it is really hard to produce good content when you don't care anymore. If you don't care, it's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
End of story.
Because you have a checklist.
Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, you have a checklist. Okay, it has to have this, it has to have this, it has to have this, and this is how the final product should look. True art, you don't know how the final product will work. You have a semblance, you have an imagination. You know the old saying, every sculptor has an imagination of how the final sculpture will look.
Yeah.
But they don't really know. They just have imagination. It's the same with any art. The moment you know how it's going to look, then you know it's overproduced.
Yeah. But let us know what you think. As always, do that in the comments down below. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace.
Peace.